This is not just your average MMA show, baby. This is Brothers in Combat with SERG Vicente and Darnell Giovanni. No need to fight. Just listen up and get it right. Brothers in Combat, baby. We rollin'! Yeah! All night long. Boom.
Here we go. What is going on, everybody? And welcome back to Brothers in Combat, not your average MMA podcast. I am one of your co-hosts, SERG Vicente, and next to me is my brother from another. We got the mystic one. We got my man's Darnell Giovanni. Darnell, let them know who you are. What does it do, my brother?
What's poppin', Fight fans? I know it's been a long time, but we are back. I was out for a little bit on a little bit of a, some things happened to me, but I'm here. That's what matters at the end of the day. I survived. Didn't kill me. You guys know what I'm talking about. You connect the dots if you want to, but hey, I'm here. What up, sir? What's going on, baby?
Hey, man, look, we glad you Florida people are all right, man. We always, we worried about y'all, man. But look, happy week, happy 420, happy all that good stuff, I know you in Florida, you might not have been able to celebrate the high holiday as I did out here in LA. But, man, how did you spend your yesterday, man?
I spent my yesterday just being joyful that something that should have happened with the George Floyd case. So that was definitely something to celebrate. But, it's not done. There's been stuff happening from a long time ago. This is just one, hopefully many more. And hopefully these things don't happen as often at all anymore.
Absolutely. Yeah. Finally, justice was served in this case specifically. Derek Chauvin was arrested, was charged on all 3 counts of murder because he's a disgusting human being, and now he has to go to jail essentially the rest of his life, which is fantastic. Unfortunately, while that was going down yesterday, we had a cop kill a 16-year-old girl. So that's just, this shit is just an unfortunate cycle that keeps going, and nothing's going to unfortunately change until there's some kind of prison reform. But obviously, we will discuss that at a later date, at a later time, because we could absolutely deep dive into that shit, man. But we got a lot to get into today, man. We got so much to get into today.
So much. What are we starting with? What's on the docket?
Let's just get into it, man. Over the weekend, we'd be remiss to talk about obviously the biggest event of the weekend, and I really hate to admit this, but we're gonna talk about the worldwide leaders of boxing, TRILLER. TRILLER
worldwide leader in boxing.
Dude, TRILLER is back, and I got a couple questions for you about that, man. But look, let's go ahead and get into it. This was the Jake Paul Ben Askren card. We also had Regis Prograis going out there fighting Ivan Redkach. There was Frank Mir going out there also fighting, on top of all of the celebrities that you can think of. Every West Coast hip hop artist you can find. Fucking
I'm
Justin
Easy
Bieber
come out of nowhere and just
dude, straight bust out a damn a hologram of Buddy. I was expecting of some sort. But let me ask you this, man. Not talking about the fights themselves, but I want to talk about the event that TRILLER put on. In your opinion, man, production value and everything. What are your thoughts about about TRILLER's second, essentially TRILLER 2?
I think that compared to the first one, I'm not one to compare. I hate to compare stuff, but we got to because we've only seen one of these other things. This was abysmal. They did not put this together well at all. Everything looked just very, very messy. Very messy, from the weird interviews in the back with Pete Davidson to the performances weren't bad because I enjoy those musical artists. But besides that, the order of everything that was going on, I just did not like the production value. I think for a company that has that amount of money, their production should be way better than that. I don't know why it didn't look like what they did with the Mike Tyson fight. Keep it consistent. Have just kind of the, same kind of thing so people recognize, oh, this is a TRILLER event. Not whatever, all these cage things they had going everywhere. No, keep it the same way they did it the first time, and I would have enjoyed it just as much as I enjoyed the first show.
You know what, man? I part of me really wishes you said something different because I can't agree with you more. Yeah, it was the definition of a shit show. It looked terrible. It was all over the place. They literally took what was great about the last one, the one with the Tyson performance with Snoop Dogg and everything there. They took that and they're like, oh, well, that did well. Let's just keep throwing more shit against the wall and hope it sticks. Really is what ended up happening. It was awful when you really think about it in terms of production value, the flow of it. It was just too much. Yeah, the music performances are cool, but are we here to watch a concert or are we here to watch fights? It was a little bit too much, and this is the next thing I do want to get into for you, because you did talk about Pete Davidson. Bro, commentary team. We loved it last time. They had, Mauro Ronaldo on there. You had Snoop, and you had Israel Adesanya. Bro, how'd you feel about the commentary team? Give me and the interviews. Let's talk about interviews too. Scale of 1 to 10, what would you give it?
I understand they're trying to do a thing where they let's add a comedian inside as well. I get that, but he's not an interviewer. You can see that he's not an interviewer. It just got very weird. I know he asked Jake Paul a question that people wanted him to ask, that was pretty cool. But besides that, I didn't like that part.
You talking about the one where he asked him about the sexual assault?
The sexual assault, correct. And they blocked it out. Triller blocked out the question, which was very interesting to see, and it showed you that they had some kind of a delay going on there. And then if you want to talk about the commentary team, can we drug test these guys before we put them on there? Come on now, man. Oscar De La Hoya was on there, coked up clearly, didn't know what he was saying. You have him around. Snoop Dogg was. I love Snoop Dogg's commentary. I will say that forever. Snoop Dogg's commentary was amazing. I feel like on a broadcast team, you should always have one alternative kind of view. Hey, Bellator.
The color guy.
Yeah,
the color
Bellator.
guy. Yeah,
Bellator. Pick up Snoop Dogg real quick. That'd be fun, man. Let him watch those fights, and his commentary is always so great. I remember him saying, "I'll take the 2-piece biscuit, and a biscuit, 2-piece." I was crying. I love that. I need a little bit of funny when you're watching something that's just like very, trying to be serious, but you need a little bit of the playfulness. So I like that as well. Yeah. But Oscar De La Hoya, no. Mario Lopez, I get you're a good kind of person to host something, but I don't want to see him at any kind of boxing event, UFC event, MMA event, nothing. I didn't like it. So on a rate scale from 1 to 10, I'm going to give it a 5 because of Snoop Dogg. Snoop Dogg gets all 5 of those points.
Man, I'm gonna give it a 3. That was ass. It was so bad. Pete Davidson obviously doesn't know what he's talking about. And here's the thing too, which I don't. The jokes and stuff are fun, but dude, do you know they're out there? They're literally pumping the commentary out, so the fighters are literally listening to the commentary during the fights. Don't do that. That's not a part of the fight, and it's distracting to the fighters. But on top of that, these dudes are literally clowning the fighters in the middle of the fight when these guys are supposed to be focusing in on
serious guys, right?
Yes, you got these. I mean, you're talking about Ivan Redcatcher. We'll talk about in a little bit. Yeah, you bitched out. You know what I'm saying? That was terrible. Give the man an Oscar because Regis Prograis was beating his ass, and in that fight. But these guys are literally clowning him in the midst of it. So think about it. If they're clowning him in that way, where he might have ended up getting up, now he's just like milking it because he's like, yo, at the end of the day, I came out looking like I've heard her acting. Now I have to play it off now, essentially. It was terrible. It was terrible. The commentary. And here's the thing. They were all talking over each other. Do you see this this chemistry that we have here? I go, you go, I go, you go. We're not stepping on each other's toes. We're not disrespecting one another. Dude, these guys were all just yelling at the mic at the exact same time. It was terrible. And then Oscar De La Hoya, fam. What is that?
I don't know what
was that. I mean, Go ahead. I'm sorry.
Let me ask you this question. Did you feel okay with them openly just smoking and doing all that stuff while they were on that broadcast? Do you feel that should be done during like some serious fights like that? No, that's fine. Of course, this is. But do you feel that's okay while they're doing that? Yes,
I do. I do the weed and stuff. You know what? I'm torn. I'm not gonna lie to you. I'm torn. I think it depends on the person. Joe Rogan can do it. He can do it. He's been proven to do it. He's professional at it. Snoop Dogg can do it. But here's the reality of the matter: is that most people can't. Most people can't go out there and still give commentary of it and do that. You can have a little drink, a little sip or something like that. If you're going to smoke, like I said, have a little, a little puffs in the back or something, or a couple. But to the point that some of these guys were just blatantly belligerent, there has to be a level of professionalism. It's still a professional product. You have to take care of that over everything else. Because here's the thing. They are literally the conduit. They're the connection between the audience and the viewing public and what's actually going on. So if you're sitting there just blatantly just talking about bullshit, the casual fan doesn't know what's going on. And the hardcores like you and I, at the end of the day, now we're distracted. Like, dude, I'm trying to pay attention to what the fuck is happening because I actually care more than the shit that you're talking, because now you guys aren't even talking about anything that is pertinent to the fights. It was terrible. It was honestly distracting to the show, and it really made it's like Triller. Stick with what you're good at. What you did last time was fantastic. What's going on now, it was just ass.
And they were doing both. They were drinking and smoking both at the same time. They had drinks on the table like that. To me, it just looked very unprofessional. The first time they had that show was Mauro Ranallo, Israel Adesanya, all of them sitting up there, and nobody was doing anything stupid. It seemed more professional. But with this, they were doing both and mixing everything. And I just did not like that. I just looked very unprofessional to me.
It was awful, yo. We got to give a shout out to our boys. The Guru is paying attention today, man. He had to ask you, man. Yo, when you asked how they felt about smoking and during commentary. What kind of question was that for the kid?
Listen, hey, we talk about everything. We talk about everything here, Brandon. Everything.
Oh man! All right, let's get into the shits. Everybody who's also watching us live right now on YouTube, on Twitch, on Facebook, I appreciate you guys. Welcome to episode 7 of Brothers in Combat. All right, let's talk about it now. Commentary, we could both agree was ass. Now let's talk about the main event, the one that everybody actually came to see. Jake Paul went out there and KOs Ben Askren in just about 50 seconds.
Was it 50 seconds?
Brother.
For some reason, I didn't see the time. I guess it was 50
they
seconds.
Said something along those lines. Somebody says about 50 or so seconds. What are your thoughts on the fight itself before we get into the tomfoolery of it?
Couple of things. The whole entrances, I feel like that could have been a little bit better. I don't know. It wasn't as what I thought it was going to be. I thought it was going to be some pyro and all this stuff. You might as well add that.
You thought it was going to be Creed too. You thought it was going to be explosions, all kinds of shit.
You might as well. You doing all the other crap. You might as well add everything else to that as well. So I thought that the entrances would be a little bit better. And then seeing them in the smaller ring, which I don't think Ben Askren was aware of. There was a smaller ring. That was kind of different to see, but I feel like they do that purposely, and that's better for a knockout because you don't have that much room to move. So that was interesting to see as well. But seeing Jake Paul knock out Ben Askren, was it surprising? No, it was not surprising. But I just thought when I first watched the fight, I think we're going to get into this more, and we're talking about the fixing and stuff. When I first watched it, which I did not pay for because I would not pay $50 for that crap. No way. I thought, I'm like, man, the ref didn't even give him a chance. Like, what was that? Like, come on, what kind of fixing was that? It stopped the fight immediately. Like, Ben Askren's been hit so much harder in the past. Like, there's no way this kid is just like. So yeah, they did have a small ring for Tyson, yeah, for sure. But those old guys, they know what they're doing. But I don't know, for some reason that ring looked even smaller. But
it was there.
It was very small. But I wasn't surprised to see Ben Askren get knocked out, but knocked out that fast. That was kind of surprising to me. That's the most thing that was surprising to me. And for him to evade those overhand rights, because he did. Remember, he evaded those overhand rights a couple different times before that knockout happened.
Yeah.
Then all of a sudden, it just boom, jab, overhand right, which is a very basic boxing combination. So I was
jab to the body, overhand right.
Very, very, very weird to see Ben Askren not to be able to defend that. But besides that, hey, man, that Jake Paul team, they know exactly what they're doing, and I cannot discredit them for that. They know exactly what they're doing.
I mean, did we not on this show? Did I not call that out? Did I not say right from the beginning he was going to get his ass knocked out quick?
You said that long time ago. Not even us on this show.
Wasn't even
long time ago on the Mystic Hour. You said that. It's a while back.
It was. We did it. Like, I'm not surprised. I've been saying this. Look, is Jake Paul a world-class elite boxer? No. But does the kid have skills? Absolutely. He absolutely has skills. He's a big kid. He has good timing, and he has some pop to him. Ben Askren, on the other hand, had fucking hip surgery in August. Hip replacement surgery in fucking August of 2020. Not of 2019, not of 2018, not of 2017, of 2020. He just had hip replacement surgery. And you can absolutely tell, like, when has Ben Askren ever actually been known as a boxer? Did you see Ben Askren's last fight in the UFC? He got his face boxed off by Damian Maia. Damian fucking Maia. Damian Maia, for those who do not know, is one of the greatest jiu-jitsu practitioners we have ever seen in MMA, period. He is not known to knock nobody out. That dude, his hands, he cannot punch his way out of a paper bag, and he knocked Ben Askren the fuck out. That should tell you how good Ben Askren's fucking striking is. But what Ben Askren is a competitor. He's a former Olympian, but he's also somebody that's been retired twice. That is done, and again, had hip replacement surgery in August. So when I put all that, of course, this is exactly what was supposed to happen. Happened. I'm not surprised at all. Yeah. I've been saying it. Like, I'm not surprised.
I have to say, once again, this is giving credit to the Jake Paul team as well. Hey, when boxers their first couple fights, man, they're just getting people that they can just add onto the record, right? Add onto the record, tune up. Jake Paul is kind of doing it a different way because he's getting it with names. And not to say it's not names that are like big in boxing. No, it's just bigger names. So it can be like, oh, he knocked out Ben Askren. Oh, he knocked out NBA basketball player Nate Robinson. Oh, he's dusting dudes with names. He's building his profile. Exactly. So he's building his profile. And I feel that he is on the way somehow. And I can't believe I'm saying this. This actually might happen. Especially if this doesn't go well in July. This actually might happen. This might happen. So
now, now I'll say this. This is the only thing I'll say about Jake Paul. And I'm not actually, people are shitty with him. People are mad. People want to get him the fuck out of here, right? I don't care. I think he has a lane, and I know exactly what he's doing. Now, would I prefer him to go out there and actually fight somebody his size? Because no one he's fought is his size. Ben Askren has never competed at 190 pounds. You know what I'm saying? And this is him at 190 pounds, like, eating whatever the fuck he can to get to that size. Fucking Nate Robinson is 5'9". Like, let's see him. This kid is 6'2". I want to see him fight. Daniel Cormier said it. If you want to see him fight somebody in size, I want to see him fight somebody like Luke Rockhold. Those are the guys that are actually his size. Yeah. And then when we think about it, when we say that out loud, like, damn, Luke's huge. Yes, so is this kid. He's a big kid, and he should be out there fighting guys his size. But that's not the point of it right now. The point of it is to make easy work of little people. So he is looking at the Conor McGregor fight like, yeah, I'll fight Conor. But at the end of the day, this dude fights 30 pounds heavier than any weight class Conor actually fights at. So again, that's another fight that's probably not going to fucking happen. Will it I mean, you know what? If it makes dollars, it makes sense. I'll tell you one fight might end up happening. He might end up getting Floyd Mayweather. I'll be honest about that.
Floyd Mayweather. I don't know if he'll get a Floyd. I don't think he'll get a Floyd.
I think he gets a Floyd because
really burning that money.
I think his brother's gonna get dusted by Floyd because they're gonna make that stupid fight, and then he's gonna go out there to try to avenge his brother's honor. And they're gonna play that whole thing up, and it'll be an even bigger fight. I'm telling you, they're setting it up already.
Setting it up, yeah. They're definitely doing a good job setting all that stuff up, and they're giving more credit to their name. But another interesting thing too, there's a guy who works for Triller, who used to work for the UFC, and he was part of that when they bought everything for $4 billion. I forget his name. I'm gonna remember it soon, and I'll send you that information. But we're gonna talk about that. But I feel that this is the guy that is pushing Jake Paul in the right direction because he used to work for Zuffa and he knows a lot of insider information with the UFC. I'll release that information later, but I'm forgetting the names and stuff. But there's something that's happening behind the scenes with Triller and with Jake Paul that's somehow it's going to coincide.
Oh, they're in cahoots. They're absolutely in cahoots.
They know what there's something happening there for sure.
Well, let's talk about this. Speaking of them working together, was the fix in on this fight? I'm seeing it going around. It's something that a lot of people are saying. Me personally, I don't believe it's a fix. Well, let me rephrase that. I think it's a fix in a different way, and I'll explain my thought process already. But, bro, was the fix in on this one?
When I first watched a fight, I said it. We were talking about, I'm like, that was a fix. That was fixed. Get out of here. That was fixed. That was fixed. Then I rewatched it. It was not fixed. He just got his shit decked in, honestly. Didn't take the fight as seriously, and Jake Paul just showed him up. So I don't think it was fixed there, but I feel that it definitely was fixed in a sense of everything was against Ben Askren in that fight, for sure. They did everything possible to make sure that Jake Paul was going to beat this kid. They made sure that if Ben
Askren didn't like that quick count?
They didn't even count. Did it even count? Was there even a count? I don't remember there being a count. And another thing, too, you see how for the Prograis fight, there was an actual referee?
Who?
For the Prograis fight, the Regis Prograis
fight? Oh,
Prograis. Sorry, I'm saying.
No, it's all good.
Yeah. You see how there was an actual referee for that fight?
Yes.
And then you see how for the Jake Paul fight, there was some referee with a camera on his chest?
Had his uncle or some shit out there.
Exactly. That was his uncle from wherever he's from. I think Ohio. I don't even care.
Ohio somewhere.
But yeah, come on. What was that?
It was bad, man. And that dude literally, because so Ben Askren definitely got his shit busted, right? He gets rocked. He took a big shot. Again, boxing 101. Jab to the body, came upstairs, didn't react to it at all, didn't see it coming, got hit, got right back up. Maybe he was a little wobbly, but at the end of the day, he also just came off hip surgery. So I'm sure somebody who just had hip surgery falling down and getting back up is going to try to stagger a little bit. But at the end of the day, it probably helped him out. It helped him out because it saved him from further embarrassment. At least he got back up and didn't end up getting face planted like Nate fucking Robinson. Do you know what I'm saying? So we gotta be happy about that. But I will say this: it's a fix in the sense that Ben Askren didn't prepare for this at all. Ben Askren didn't work out for this. I'll be honest with you. I think the first time Ben Askren hit pads is when he had that little photo shoot with Freddie Roach. I think that might have been the first time he hit pads at all. He didn't take this fight seriously in the least. Because if he actually took this fight seriously, it would have been different. It would have looked different. And I'm not saying he would have won, but I'm saying that he would have at least had an ab or two. That was atrocious. Like, oh my God, dude, and Ben Askren always looks like shit, to be fair.
Yeah.
But he looked really bad this time. That was awful.
That's okay, but that's when people are saying that, it's Ben Askren that doesn't have to cut weight. Like, what better body is he gonna have? He doesn't have to cut to 170. The fight was at 190, so
but there's a difference. So we can tell he didn't.
Ben Askren at 190. Ben Askren losing weight to cut to 170. There's not an ab. There's not a muscle. He still has love handles. It's the same exact body.
Go back and watch. If you go and even watch the fight with Masvidal, yes, he still looks like he is not in the best shape.
One side of his
I'm just saying, look at his shoulders. You see it in his shoulders. You can tell that was a man that was working out. I'm telling you, there is a difference even in his physique. He always looks like hell. I'm not saying that he looks like, he looks like Bohachina. He looks like El Vino on one side and comes back.
I just don't
understand. Take it seriously,
though. What body did you expect Ben Askren to look like at 190?
I expected him to have a shoulder. I expected him to have something. I want to see. I want to see that he looked like he was prepared. He wasn't prepared. He wasn't in shape. He looked like hell. And that's my thing. And I look at it, it's just like you can tell he didn't. Now, here's the thing. Even if he was in shape, he would have got dusted regardless. I said that from the very, very beginning. But at the end of the day, he didn't take this fight seriously. So for me, that's the thing. For me, it looks like if there was any type of fix-in, it was that he came in with the idea that I'm probably not going to win this fight, and I don't care.
I don't think I just don't think it would have made a difference. I think Ben Askren.
I don't think it would have made a difference either. I'm saying that.
I think he was working out. I do think Ben Askren was working out. I think he was working out. I think he was doing his thing, but he just it's just a more of in his mind. It's like, man, this guy is not a real fighter. I don't think he's a real fighter. So why do I have to get in this kind of a shape or look some kind of a body image kind of thing? I don't know. We got to stop body shaming Ben Askren. How about that? How about we stop body shaming Ben Askren?
I'm a body shame any athlete that steps his big ass in there and that doesn't have cardio and looks like hell. And because to me that tells me you didn't do your job.
Tyson Fury, even though he looks good now, Tyson Fury was a guy who didn't look like he.
But every time Tyson Fury fought to the best of his ability, he always looked like he was in shape. I'm not, you know what I'm saying? Like, we ain't talking about Tyson Fury. Like, look, I got one for you. Andy Ruiz, you look like shit.
There you go. But look, knocked out Anthony Joshua, though.
The next time he came back and he looked like shit even more.
Yeah, he looked worse. I don't know what happened there. That's money.
That's
money. But we got to talk about Tyron Woodley. Are we talking about Tyron
Woodley?
Here,
we'll get into this, and let's get into it actually.
Yeah.
Jake Paul, what are your thoughts on it? It seems like it's MMA versus Jake Paul. Right when he got done, he ended up calling out Nate Diaz. He's been calling out fucking Conor McGregor. You have all these things going on, and you even have behind the scenes. And I want to get your thoughts about this. Tyron Woodley was behind the scenes, and he ended up getting into a little back and forth with Jake Paul's corner, Javion Love, to be precise, a former boxer. yeah. Let's go. And I will say this, and here, I could leave this one. Yo, Javion Love, you're garbage, son. You're garbage. Okay, like you. How dare you talk shit to Tyron Woodley? Somebody who has proven it in his sport time and time again. I'm sick and tired of these dudes sitting here talking. I'm not talking about Jake Paul. You're doing your job, right? You're a cornerman, and you're talking about, oh, I know how to do this thing in boxing. Fam, last time I checked, you got in there with a dude named David Benavidez, and he went out there and dusted your ass, okay? Your ass don't even got 20 fights in, and you got like 3 losses in boxing. That means your ass, son. So don't sit here and call out somebody, who's actually been proven in the sport, and at the end of his career, you're clout chasing. That's what that is. That's what Daniel Cormier called you out. That's what MMA is calling you out. Now, I'll say this on Jake Paul versus MMA. People are shitty because they feel like, hey, like what did Nate Diaz say? You're taking everything I work for, motherfucker. What I'm saying? That's how they feel about it. I'm not mad at Jake Paul. He's a troll. He's in his lane. There's a space for him in this lane. What MMA fighters need to do is realize that you're being goated and not buy into the bullshit. That's where they need to do. That's the difference in it.
So I feel the MMA fighters are biting into all the bullshit because it's an easy payday. You go and you fight that guy, even if you get knocked out. Some of these guys will take the embarrassment for $1 million because it's that they never made that money in their MMA career. They never made that money in their MMA careers. A lot of these guys, even Tyron Woodley. Tyron Woodley has made $500,000 payday, something like that. He's never made $1 million off a fight. He's never sold enough pay-per-view buys to make $1 million. No, absolutely not. It's never happened. So this is a very easy money grab for Tyron Woodley. Do I think Tyron Woodley would beat Jake Paul? I don't know. This version of Tyron Woodley, I'm not the biggest fan of because he's just. If we're being honest here, when has Tyron Woodley ever been the guy with hands? He's never been the hands guy. He's never been a guy.
Tyron Woodley don't got hands like that.
He has a very good overhand right, but besides that, Tyron Woodley's not jabbing anybody. Tyron Woodley's not going to people's bodies. No, he's not doing any of that. Boxing is very different. This is not a guy who's been boxing for a long time. Or Tyron Woodley would talk about, I used to go to Wild Card and study this, study that. We never saw that in the actual cage of him showing those boxing skills. I know he had a lot of different guys that he fought, but like he was fighting Stephen Wonderboy Thompson, who stands up the whole entire time. He wasn't jabbing him. He wasn't showing any kind of boxing. So I don't know. I think it would be a very risky thing for Tyron Woodley to do in a sense of how he wants his career to go. Because you went on for 4 losses in MMA, and now you're going to go lose to a YouTube kid who maybe one day we might call him boxer Jake Paul. I don't know. It can't happen.
No, he's a boxer. We got to give it to him. He's a boxer.
We got to give him his credit.
He takes it seriously.
And that's what he's mainly doing the past couple of years. He's been mainly boxing. Tyron Woodley has not been doing that. And I saw an interview this morning, and he said, no, if I'm going to fight Jake Paul's guy, Javion Love,
Yep.
it's going to be in an octagon. It's
Absolutely.
not going to be in a boxing.
And I agree with him.
He wants to elbow him. I feel him on that.
Now that's the thing. Javion Love and them in a boxing ring, absolutely. You are trained. You know what I'm saying? You would absolutely beat Tyron Woodley in a straight up boxing match. But here's another thing too. Why is it these guys are keep like saying, come over here, come over here, come over here? If you're as tough as you say you are, if you got the fucking cojones to sit here and talk shit to this man in his face about what he can and can't do, take your ass to the octagon. Fight him there. Fight him there. Fight him. If you're so bad, go to his sport and fight him his sport. You guys keep wanting these guys to come in MMA. You know, it's ridiculous. And to me, that's where, as MMA fighters, they just need to tune it out. Let them talk shit. Let them have these celebrity other fights and shit like that. Because here's the thing. Is Jake Paul actually fighting any MMA fighters that can actually strike or can stand up and strike? Is he calling out anybody his size? Is he calling out a Luke Rockhold? Is he calling out a...
Nope.
Is he calling out anybody?
He's calling out a BJ Penn. He's calling out a retired Daniel Cormier.
He's calling out all these other dudes.
Yeah.
And for people saying that boxing and shit is going to make more money and stuff, no, because let's think about it. This is a different fucking lane. If it's Triller putting it up and they're doing it, they can do what the fuck they want to do.
Mm-hmm.
So Triller can keep giving them as much as they fucking want to and do whatever the fuck they want to do. So this ain't traditional boxing. This ain't traditional MMA. They can pit whatever price tags they want up there. So if they're that fucking badass, put them octagon in the middle of that goddamn that thing and let's see what's going on. If not, just stop calling these people out. And the MMA fighters, stop responding to it because they are not going to get anybody real.
To anybody who keeps thinking that Jake Paul is going to call out an actual boxer, he doesn't need to. He doesn't need to. Besides that could happen, why does he have to do that? For what? Because he's in a boxing ring? No. Pull every MMA guy inside of that ring and keep fighting them there. And it's going to keep working. He's going to keep selling $1 million a card. These guys are going to keep calling him out. His tactic that he's doing right now is very smart. It's very, very smart. I cannot hate on that. Is it respectable in a sense for like in down the road? I'm gonna look at him just like, oh, one of the greatest boxers. No, never, absolutely not, never. But what he's doing is it's smart. These kids did not make this amount of money by being stupid. As stupid as they sound. As stupid as they sound.
Straight up. Now let me ask you this, because I got somebody in mind. Who should this Jake Paul fight next? I can't believe we're asking this, but who should he fight next?
Who should Jake Paul fight next? I think for sure somebody in the mixed martial arts field. And if I was him and you want to sell pay-per-view, he's going to sell pay-per-views no matter what. But I would go after Mike Perry. I think Mike Perry would be a good idea for him to go out because he's already boxed him before. He's already been in a ring with him before, and he's still going to sell those pay-per-views. And Mike Perry would love to make that money for sure. And people will be like, oh, an active MMA fighter. Boom, there's an active MMA fighter who's kind of been on a little bit of a slump, but he still has a name. People know who he is. He's boxed before, so they can talk about, oh, Mike Perry has been in a boxing ring. So don't say it like he's never boxed before. I think Mike Perry would be the smartest idea in this sense for now. If you want to just keep building up that resume, Mike Perry.
You're probably right. You're absolutely right. It probably should be Mike Perry. It should be somebody along those lines. I think it should be Tommy Fury. If you're that fucking badass, if you really want to fight somebody, he has more social media followers than Ben Askren. He has a name tied to the best heavyweight boxer in the world right now. He is a reality TV show star in the UK. It makes sense, but here's the problem with it. And here's the thing: Tommy Fury, the guys he's fought don't have the weight. Same weight.
Oh, same weight.
Yeah.
Wow.
He's a light heavyweight.
Well, that's a scary one. I mean, what's his record?
5-0, 5 KOs.
That's not a bad idea. That is not.
It's right there. And here's the thing: he's fighting bums. I'm not gonna lie to you. He's fighting bums right now.
Tommy Fury is fighting bums.
I mean, he's early in his career.
Is he any relation to Tyson Fury?
That's his older brother.
That's his older brother?
Yes.
No way.
So that
No
to me,
way. I gotta look.
there-
Sorry, I'm gonna look at this guy real quick. I didn't know who he was.
his lady's a little cutie. He's doing good things.
Oh wow. Oh, I didn't know. That's his. Wow. So that's
Yeah.
Tyson Fury's younger brother.
Yes.
I can see it in his face.
Yes.
They almost look the same, and they got the same wide chest as well too.
Exactly.
Oh wow, that would be interesting. Okay, I'm into that.
So for me, that's what I want to see. Look, early in his career, if you really want to prove yourself, you want to sit there and say you're a real boxer. Here's the thing. Jake Paul's team said Tommy Fury. Tommy Fury responded and said, fight me or keep my name out of my keep my name out of your mouth. That's what he said. He said, I'm here, I'm ready, send me a contract. Otherwise, stop talking shit.
And he'll fight somebody closer to his age. I like that. Ooh, put that in the air.
Dude, they're the same age. They're the same age.
They're in the same age. Put that in the air. I like this. I like that. I'm into it. Sold me already. I'm sold. Forget Mike Perry. Let's see Tommy Fury. I'm gonna put that on the gram. I want to put that into the air. Or another one too. Daniel Rodriguez would be a good one too. If Daniel Rodriguez, you want to act,
Daniel beat his ass too.
If you want an active UFC fighter, let's get Daniel Rodriguez versus Jake Paul. If you want an active guy, Jake Paul, Daniel Rodriguez would be that man. Go ahead, step to him. Fury probably too much. I'm sure he's probably too much. 100%.
Hey, they call that dude TNT for a reason. He gonna knock his face off.
I gotta see some of his stuff for sure. I gotta see that. But yeah, I don't know. Tyron Woodley fight Jay Leon and do it on a Triller card. I'll watch that.
I'd watch it, but yeah, none of those fights are gonna come to fruition. But all in all, I think that they have their own lane. Now, granted, is what Triller doing sustainable? I don't believe so. To be honest with you, I don't like. At the end of the day, they didn't even pub Triller when they were there. It was I don't know. I don't know if they can keep doing this. It still reminds me of Affliction. It still reminds me of Elite FC. It's just
Elite FC was not bad. Elite FC was not bad at all. Affliction,
I'm just saying in terms of they burned their money real quick. They burned their money. It was a flash in the pan. They had a decent product. Didn't have enough cash to keep sustaining these big paydays. I don't see how they keep it going. I don't see Triller Fight Club or whatever the fuck stopping, because think about this. They had to literally pay Regis Prograis $1 million, damn near him damn self, right?
Yeah.
They had to pay, and all these price tags they have to pay for these individuals. Not only do you have to do all of that, then you got pay-per-views on top of that, okay? That means if they paid all this out, no matter if they did sell 1 million pay-per-views, that means they didn't make any money because of everything they had to pay out. And then they have another fight card coming up where they already promised Teofimo Lopez he's getting $6 million. And that's not even to talk about the pay-per-view buys on top of that. Business-wise, they're putting themselves in a huge fucking hole. I can't even fathom about the type of money that they've already given fucking Snoop Dogg. Think about this. Yesterday was 420. They literally just did a thing. They bought into Versus. Mm-hmm. How much money do these motherfuckers got? They're
the person who's backing it has a lot of money. That's a guy. He was part of that $4 billion deal. They got a lot of money. They got a lot of money. It must be a
Saudi prince, fam.
They got a lot of money to blow. I can actually tell you his name, but we'll talk about that after. Sheesh. I can't put that stuff out. I'm not allowed to yet, but I'll message you about that after.
Seriously, man. All right, man. Well, let's move on a little bit because there was some MMA this weekend that we definitely have to talk about. Because realistically, the best fight this weekend.
The real stuff.
Fight this weekend, hands down. Robert Whittaker went out there and faced Kelvin Gastelum in a wide-ranging fight, but I think it was a high-level blowout, if it makes sense.
High-level blowout, correct.
High-level blowout. Robert Whittaker dominated the fight, but it was a very competitive fight, if that makes any sense. Let me ask you this, fam. What were your thoughts on the fight itself?
I thought it seemed like it was competitive, but it really wasn't, because Robert Whittaker was dominating in every area that Kelvin Gastelum was trying to. I think that Robert Whittaker is the clear number one contender to add on to that, but I need to dive into Kelvin Gastelum a little bit, because he just basically is looking like, now he just entered the gatekeeper status for middleweight. If you want to get into that top 10, you got to be Kelvin Gastelum to get there. And I don't think he wants to be in that position. I think Kelvin Gastelum needs to maybe get on some more of a discipline and go back to welterweight. Welterweight is a better place for you. I'd rather see him. Like, can you imagine Colby Covington versus Kelvin Gastelum? I would love to see that.
Kelvin Gastelum runs through him.
Colby Covington cannot take that guy down. He's going to be way too wide, way too big, way too strong. Very good in scrambles. Wrestling-wise, Kelvin Gastelum is great.
Amazing
great there.
Power.
Yeah, and he has amazing power, and he still has power at welterweight as well. So why not go back down there, kind of go on a little bit of a diet, to lose that weight? Because it's not looking good for him at middleweight. He's not beating any of those guys in that top 5. He's not beating any of them. It's not happening. I know back in the day when he first entered the welterweight division, he beat an aging Tim Kennedy, an aging Vitor Belfort. Like, those guys are old, man. And as soon as he stepped into somebody who's more his age, I know he had a very competitive fight against Israel Adesanya, but after that, he's never recovered and he has not looked the same. Not to say he looked horrible, but he just didn't look like somebody who should be fighting at middleweight.
No, not at all. I agree with you. He's too small for middleweight. He's always been too small for middleweight. Mm-hmm. And the only reason that he wasn't, everyone said this from the very beginning, especially coming off of the Ultimate Fighter. If Kelvin Gastelum got in shape, had a couple abs, wasn't built like a damn Lego man, this man would absolutely be a champion at welterweight. As of right now, tell me right now with a straight face that you wouldn't want to see a in-shape Kelvin Gastelum against Kamaru Usman. Sign me the fuck up.
100%. I would love
Sign
to see
me the
would
fuck
love
up.
to see that. There's no, and Kelvin Gastelum's not a guy you're knocking out either. He's too.
Here's another thing. I don't know if Woodley can take him down. These middleweights have trouble taking Kelvin Gastelum down. If they have trouble with him, I don't know if Usman can do it. He has better hands than all these guys at welterweight. He's more powerful than these guys at welterweight. I don't understand why he continues to beat his head against the wall just to sit there and stay at here's the thing. He stays at middleweight because he can, not because this is best for him. I need him to get a little bit more in shape and do it because here's the thing. This fight was a competitive fight. Yeah. It was a good fight. And the difference is just that Robert Whittaker has an amazing fight IQ. Mm-hmm. Robert Whittaker was timing Kelvin Gastelum because one thing Kelvin Gastelum does is that he always resets. Yeah. Bounce, 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 reset. Yeah. Bounce, 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 reset. And every time he did it, bounce, 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 reset, he got popped. Bang!
Whittaker was ready every time, yep.
Every single time. So it was a great performance for Robert Whittaker, which actually brings me to my next point. I got to ask you about this. Mm-hmm. What do we do with Robert Whittaker? Do you give him a title shot, or does Marvin Vettori, in your opinion, deserve a title shot?
Before I comment on that, I just wanted to look at something real quick. And the guys that Kelvin Gastelum beat on his way to the middleweight title, Tim Kennedy, Vitor, Michael Bisping, Souza. Old. As soon as he stepped into these younger guys, Darren Till, Jack Hermanson, Israel Adesanya. Lost. Shows you a lot right there, man. I think welterweight would be a smarter idea for Kelvin Gastelum. But back to this question, Whittaker or Vettori deserve a title shot? Come on, man. Vettori, who's Vettori beat? Who has he beat besides Hermanson, which is not even ranked in the top 5 anymore?
Exactly.
That's the only person. I don't even think Vettori deserves his ranking that he has right now because there's guys in the top 10 that he hasn't even beat yet. Come on, man. Whittaker is 100% the number 1 contender. He has been active, more active than he was when he was even a champion. In the past 8 months, I think he's fought 3 times. That's unheard of. That's unheard of. He's fought more than a champion. No disrespect to Israel Adesanya. You're a champ. It works a little bit different on those ends. But 3 times. He's been very active, and he's beaten every guy right below him. Every guy. Who else does he have to beat for that title shot? Do I think he'll beat Israel Adesanya the second time? No, I don't think it's a good matchup for him at all. He's just the way that
bad matchup. Stylistically,
it's a stylistic bad matchup. I kind of compare it to you can get lucky one time, maybe, but after that, you're going to keep getting beat like Cain Velasquez and Junior Dos Santos. It's just a bad matchup for the other person. Yeah, as good as the other person is, it just doesn't work out. It just doesn't work out. But Robert Whittaker, number one contender. Do it in New Zealand or Australia. Huge stadium once again because they're doing very well over there in a COVID sense. Sell it out. Sell out a soccer stadium. Do it one more time. Come on, that's easy, UFC. Don't even think about anybody else because I don't know who else they were thinking about to give that title shot to. But I hope Robert Whittaker gets that. He's been doing well. He's such a good person. Period. I personally love
one of the best guys in the sport.
One of the best guys in the sport. One of the best guys. What do you think?
Okay. I'll say this. It's a no-brainer. I'm with you. I think Marvin Vettori, realistically, skill-wise, is number 8 at best in that weight class. He really, he got dusted by Adesanya before Adesanya even figured out how to fight MMA yet. Truly. Literally, before Adesanya was even figured out MMA, he whooped Marvin Vettori's ass. It wasn't even close. Mm-hmm. So when you think about that, when you look at this, he hasn't earned that spot. I tell you who has earned that spot. The guy who literally cleaned out the weight class aside from the champion. That's who. And that's absolutely Robert Whittaker. He's a former champion for a reason. Unfortunately, he is just good for him that he actually had the belt for a duration of time because he's not going to get it back. Yeah. I always said this. I hated to be the guy who fights any of these great guys right after a loss, especially if it's a close loss. Look what happens when you fight Max Holloway afterwards. Look what happens when you fight any of those dudes afterwards. They usually put the yammers on you, especially if it was a close fight that they feel like they should have won.
Yep.
So I think it's going to be another tough day at the office for Robert Whittaker, but he absolutely deserves that title shot. It is no ifs, ands, or buts about it. Sign me the fuck up. Soccer Stadium, New Zealand.
But if Israel Adesanya beats Robert Whittaker, who is he fighting after that? Who does he really need to fight after that? Because
then he takes 6 months off. Then he takes 6 months off. He puts on muscle and he goes back to 205.
That's what he does.
That's what he needs to do. That's what he would do. He needs to go out there, take a dedicated 6 months.
He wants that Till fight, though. He really wants that Till fight. I don't know what it is about the Till fight that draws him in so much.
It'll be
I
fun.
guess so. Darren Till's a dog. He's a dog.
Yeah. Darren Till's a dog. It'd be a fun matchup for him stylistically because he would actually it'll be a chess match, and he wants a chess match. He doesn't feel like any of those other guys, especially striking wise. Mm-hmm. He's been in there with Whittaker. He's assessed that game. He knows what Robert Whittaker brings to the table. It doesn't excite him in the same manner. All these other guys, striking wise, Darren Till striking, I really believe, excites Adesanya. And it really did. I mean, think about some of the amazing matchups that we've seen him in terms of striking. He had a great striking match with Stephen Wonderboy Thompson. Those are good matchups if you really think about it. But aside from that, he dusts Robert Whittaker. There's nobody left. There's nobody left.
Nobody at all.
He has to move up.
John Jones, heavyweight. I still see it.
I do too. I really do. All right. Let's anything else on that card because the card itself was fun. You know, it had a couple notables. I mean, there was anything really stand out to you on that card?
Nah. Besides that, there was a couple close fights. I was happy to see Jessica Penney finally come back after 4 years.
Absolutely.
That must have been very rough for her dealing with that and the whole things that. Let me bring this up as well. You know now. Baby. Tracy Cortez, if you see this, can we talk for a minute? Of course, you got to shout out. Great win. Justin Kish is very hard to prepare for because she's just a fighter that is just, she can do it all for sure. Sometimes she can get a little shitty, if you know what I'm talking about, but she's good. But I wanted to point out that the UFC is no longer pointing out when people fail drug tests.
Yes,
they're no longer announcing that anymore. I think that's very interesting.
Conor McGregor, your boy, brought that up recently.
I think we need to watch that closely. If we see a fighter not be active for a while, might be suspended. And I feel that's why a couple people have left the UFC too, because it's a little easier to pass a drug test in a Bellator. So I don't know, or a PFL. I'm not pointing any fingers, but I'm just saying it's a little easier to do that. I'm not pointing any fingers.
Well, speaking of Bellator, we had the Bellator light heavyweight Grand Prix continue chugging on. We saw Ryan Bader obviously he moved on. He got a W against Lyoto Machida, and then we had Nemkov end up beating Phil Davis in a Another high level chess match. I think another boring fight, but at the end of the day, I think it was a very high level chess match. And then we also had Corey Anderson go out there and beat a guy with a last name that I'm not even going to try to pronounce. You know what I'm saying? So we have that. Let me ask you this: out of the 3 fights that have already happened, we have one more to see who moves up. Obviously, that's Romero versus Rumble Johnson. Mm-hmm. Who has impressed you the most thus far?
I'm going to say Corey Anderson, because Corey Anderson went in there, finished this guy who's unknown that you couldn't even find that much videotape on, went in there, dominated it, and did exactly what he needed to do. I love that kind of a guy who has a game plan like that. Just like, I'm going to go in there, I'm going to take you down, and I'm going to beat you up. I'm going to beat you up really, really bad, and it's not even going to be close. So I like Corey Anderson. I'm liking Corey Anderson to go to the finals, honestly.
So you say him because he fights Ryan Bader.
I think he beats Ryan Bader. Ryan Bader did not look good against Lyoto Machida. It took him a while to start to get to a point where he was just like, okay, I'm going to start wrestling now. But in that sense, he wasn't even really dominating that bad. Like Machida wasn't like, oh man, I got beat up really, really bad. No, Machida's just an older guy. He's on a different side of his career. Now Ryan Bader has to fight a young, hungry Corey Anderson. You know what happened last time Ryan Bader fought somebody young? Nemkov knocked him out. So now he has to fight a dog in Corey Anderson who can wrestle. I don't know about the striking sense. No, I don't love Corey Anderson standing up, but I think Corey Anderson can out wrestle Ryan Bader if he wants to. He definitely can. He can catch him on the ground and ground and pound him. So Corey Anderson has looked the best to me. I didn't love the Nemkov Davis fight. Davis did not look good. Davis didn't look like he's progressing too much in his MMA career. I was a little confused about that. Maybe he needs to go to a different camp. Maybe he needs a different kind of motivation. Not saying he's trash, but I'm just saying he's just not looking like he used to. But Corey Anderson has looked the best. And I'm very excited for that. Yoel Romero and Anthony Johnson. Good.
2 weeks. We ended up getting that one, which again, I think that was the crown jewel of the tournament. And I think that's why they saved that one for last. And I'm so happy that they did it in the first round. Okay, so who has looked the best? I have to agree with you. It is absolutely Corey Anderson. He went out there and just dominated a guy who is really tough. You're talking about a former, I believe he's what's Russia's main organization? M1 Global. Yeah, I think he's an former M1 champion. I think the dude is
ACB. It was ACB.
ACB. Okay.
Yeah.
I think you're right. So he's a former ACB champion. The dude is an absolute beast. And Corey Anderson, game plan ended up just running through him to realistically, did exactly what he's supposed to do. First round, pace himself out. Second round, show him who the hell you are. Third round, get him out of there. I love what I saw. And he was the only one that really looked like so far in the tournament that he's willing to take a risk and put himself out there. Nemkov's fight was so calculated and he was super calculated with a guy that wasn't throwing punches back at him. Mm-hmm. Yeah, Phil Davis was throwing a couple kicks, but he wasn't throwing hands. And I will say this, Phil Davis is in my opinion, one of the most disappointing fighters that I've ever watched in MMA. He disappoints me almost to almost at the same level as a Benson Henderson. Two guys that are very, very good. And I don't want to feel like anybody saying I'm taking anything away from them. But what I am saying is this. They have all the athletic ability, but whether it be mentally or anything, Tyron Woodley does the exact same thing. These guys and you know what? All three of them are predominant wrestlers. They're guys who have wrestling backgrounds, that wrestling is their number one. So maybe they just have never really ended up feeling that comfortable with the striking. And that's fair, and it's unfair for me to go out there. I'm literally thinking about this as I'm saying it. Maybe it's unfair for me to sit there and say that, but you've been in MMA for as long as you have. All of these guys have been in MMA at this point in time for over a decade. You have to be more comfortable with the striking if you're going to be better. You have to be able to evolve. And the fact that Phil Davis has all the athletic ability. He actually he's a good counter striker, but he doesn't understand and he doesn't know how to lead the dance. And it doesn't make sense. He also has never really learned how to combine his striking and his wrestling. If he actually learned how to combine his striking and wrestling, he would have been a buzzsaw. There's a reason why when he fought Rashad Evans towards the end of Rashad Evans' career, Rashad just ran through him because Rashad literally is the style that he should have had his entire career and didn't. It's ridiculous. If he actually implemented that type of game plan with a Nemkov, I honestly believe he easily beats him. I think Nemkov is good. I think Nemkov could beat a lot of top light heavyweights in the UFC. Do I think he's champion material? No, I do not believe so. The reason I don't think so is because I don't think his gas tank is good enough, and I really do see him. You know what I'm saying? And at the end of fights, if you're actually paying attention at the end of fights, he slows down. He really does.
A lot.
Exactly. So I'm not impressed by Minkov. That's why. And I'll be honest with you. If he does happen to get past a Rumble Johnson or your Romero, if he happens to, because they're both wild cards. We don't know what we're going to get from them in this tournament. Corey Anderson whoops his ass.
Nemkov?
Just saying. Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know if he whoops his ass because Nemkov clearly has a good anti-wrestling thing that he can do, and I feel like he's smart on the feet. He's a very good. Whoever's game. Oh, he's a Fedor guy. Fedor Emelianenko team is very good at game planning because it's worked out for him pretty well, especially in Bellator. Before Bellator, he's had a little bit of issues, but with these guys in Bellator, he's been game plan wise. They've been doing pretty good. I think they would find Corey Anderson very smart. And I think he would probably KO Corey Anderson.
Ooh, you know what? He might be able to. Corey Anderson at times gets overly aggressive, and he can get Corey Anderson the exact same way that Jan Blachowicz got him, kind of running into a shot. He can absolutely kind of do the exact same thing. He can turn Corey Anderson into a shot and have him run into something. That's absolutely possible with a Nemkov fight.
Big guy too. Absolutely. He's a big guy. He's no small guy.
Big dude. I mean, again, he's a Fedor protege, one of them big kettlebell throwing motherfuckers.
How do you feel about it being? Last question. How do you feel about every fight being 5 rounds? So I don't think it unless you're fighting a champion. I don't think everything should be 5 rounds.
It's the main. They're usually the main event of the night. Yeah. So if it's usually the main event, fuck it. Why not? You know, make it special, and it makes these guys actually have to train. You know what I mean? Like,
true, but
makes them train. That means they're going to be in shape.
I don't know how much I want to see 5 rounds of it, especially if it's not for the belt. You know, I know sometimes there are good fights out of 5 rounds, like the upcoming Nate Diaz and Leon Edwards. Of course, I would love to see 5 rounds of that. But like, I don't know if that Corey Anderson fight would have went 5 rounds. Then I have to watch another 5 rounds.
He finished him though.
Davis. No, he did. But if it would have went 5 rounds. And then I had to watch another 5. That's 10 rounds of a lot of like, you know, it's too early.
I
feel like those fights should happen in the second rounds and in the finals.
First round, I hear you. First round should be. You're right. First round, make them 3 rounds. Semifinals and all, make them 5. If they're the co-main event, I hear you. Makes sense.
Yeah.
Makes sense.
I don't know, but good job on Bellator though. I'm enjoying this tournament for sure.
Oh, absolutely. No, it's been a good tournament so far. I cannot wait till the Crown Jewel event coming up. Really quick before we get out of here, we do have some big fights coming up this weekend, and we only got about 3 minutes. But I want to get your picks. We're gonna run through really fast. We had so much to get to today, man. So let's just run through this real quick, and we can actually even do another episode for y'all later on this week and really deep dive into this shit. So really fast. I don't even have them up. We got UFC 261 this weekend, the rematch. We got Usman Masvidal 2. Let's go ahead. I don't have the card pulled up. Let me. You got the card? Go ahead.
Usman Masvidal. That's the main event. You can go pick. You want to pick? You want to do picks now? Up to you.
Fuck it. All right. Let's. You want to do? You want to do another episode? We can do it like.
I can pick. Right. I can pick. I got my picks. Let's
do it picks. After you, sir. You got your pick. Here. Right. I'm going with number 1. Championship fight. I got Usman winning.
You got Usman winning. I got Masvidal winning that fight. I think he's going to fight the perfect fight. All right, there you go. Second,
I hope you're right.
Valentina Shevchenko and Jessica Andrade.
Shevchenko whoops her ass.
Agreed. It's not I want to go with her. She's gonna whoop. Nama Yunus versus Zelly Wayne.
Damn it! If it wasn't for these stupid fucking comments,
take the comment out. Look, take the comment out.
I'm taking the comment out, and I'm still going with fuck. God damn it, Rose Namajunas.
I think Welly finishes her in the first round.
Woo! Oh, I hope you're right. Hope you're right.
Oh, another one. Chris Weidman, Uriah Hall.
Uriah Hall dusts his ass.
I think Chris Weidman has a different kind of motivation. I think he beats Uriah Hall. A lot of grappling.
I think he's done.
Jimmy Crute and Anthony Smith.
Anthony Smith better win. If Anthony Smith don't win, he better retire if he wants to stay on that desk.
I think
so. I'm just gonna say he better win, but I think Jimmy Crute might get him.
I think I'm gonna. Nah, Anthony Smith is good with these younger guys. I'm gonna go with Anthony Smith. I think he can handle these younger guys. He's too good. He's too good. That was quick,
well,
but we can do another show to break these down a little bit more. We can do part 2 tomorrow or Friday. But go ahead.
Sounds good. All right. Well, look. Appreciate you guys for listening, man. This is Not Your Average MMA Podcast, Brothers in Combat. We love you guys. We'll see you right here next time, everywhere podcasting is available. Peace out.
Oh.